to take care of one another. So, on that note, I hope that B is already in the room. I really appreciate that folks are sharing out where they are calling from or calling in from. Thanks to everyone. And I'm also excited that folks are sharing what it is that they hope to get from this event. It has been a really painful period for so very many of us. So I'm glad that we get to be in community together to take care of ourselves and to take care of each other. B, are you in the building?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Excellent. Okay, there you are. Thank you, B, so much for joining us. For the first couple of minutes, we get to have a fireside chat. So I want to welcome everyone to the to Killer B. Killer B, you want us to call you Killer B, or you want us to call you B? There we go.
Oh, either way is fine. Killer Bee's fine.
Okay, so Killer B, tell us. Oh, wait. Before that, I want folks to know that those of us who are sharing donations, this is a free event. Those of us who are sharing donations, all of the resources that you share with us will be going to the ATL Atlanta area to the victims and survivors of the most recent tragic deaths and killings, right?
Amazing.
On that note, B, I wanted to ask you real quickly, how are you doing?
Um, that's such a loaded question these days. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Being able to offer up my skill and do things like this is making me better. I
Mhm.
think helping to heal others helps me heal, so that's helping me a lot. Um, and I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm trying to focus on the power that we can pull together, that we can, get from each other and from ourselves. That's what I'm trying to focus myself on, and it's getting me by. So
Mhm. I think that's one of the things that we've always loved about you, B, is that you have always been really good at just not only taking care of yourself, but mostly really big on taking care of others and us having each other's backs. So I thank you for that. You've mentioned at different events with us the importance of martial arts and what it's meant to your life. And folks who are martial artists who are joining us today, and those of us who are new to self-defense and martial arts, can you tell us what role martial arts has played in your life and how you came to it?
um so I joined martial arts. I found martial arts at a really dark and lonely time in my life. I just escaped a very, very abusive domestic situation. And I think many people see the escape, seeing me get out of it, as the triumph, but it really wasn't the end of the story. Yeah, I left the situation, but I was by myself, alone, with no direction. So when I found martial arts, I actually took a self-defense class. This is why I'm so passionate about teaching the community and other people self-defense. I found the martial arts community, and for me, that was the biggest thing. Besides the empowerment of knowing how to pull power and use my body to defend myself, um, it was the community of not feeling alone. It was the having somebody to go through the trenches with, and learn things with, and accomplishing things with. So I think that's what the martial arts gave me. Was it gave me a sense of, it was the first time I felt a sense of community. And I hope that I can offer a small glimpse of that today.
Thank you for sharing that. I think one of the things that AAPI Women Lead is very big on is also reclaiming some of our communities' um, resources, right? So we've been big on reclaiming martial arts, reclaiming our healing traditions, including acupuncture, herbal medicine, intuitive healing, and these practices of martial arts that's so big on MMA. So many of these forms of fighting and defense come from our communities. So thank
Yes.
you for being a leader around that. Um, the other question that I had for you was that this is a launch of AAPI Women Leads series called Solidarity in Action. And we invited all communities to today's event because this is not only about calls for solidarity, but being in solidarity with each other and taking care of one another, having each other's backs.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, B, what is the role of solidarity and community in your life and in your practice?
I think for me, again, I started out very much alone or thinking that I was alone. The abuse isolated me. So for me, community, the importance of community is just not feeling alone. It's the give and take, and for me, it was comforting hands, in my life. Um, I started needing the community. I was alone. I was tired. I was lost. And now I'm very proud to be able to give back to the community. And I think that's what community is just a circle of support. It's a large resource that a lot of us, I didn't know was available. That's why when I discovered AAPI, it really made me whole. It was a big part of my journey as an Asian American, an Asian American woman, is just being around others like me who know how I feel and who are there to support me, help me heal, and who I can offer my help to. So community is very important to me. And for me, when I think about solidarity, I just think about power. I just think
Mm,
that there is nothing stronger than the strength in numbers. And I feel really strongly about solidarity because it was the first time when I saw people come together in my martial arts world as a team. Even though I fight alone in a cage, the team in preparation is what gave me power to go out there and fight alone. So although we have our own lives, we have our own personal struggles, our different communities, Black community, the Asian community, Hispanic community, we all have our own struggles, but knowing that we're there together, knowing that we have solidarity, really gives you more power to face your own obstacles in life.
mm.
That's what it means to me.
Thanks so much, B, for sharing that. And then also for sharing your survivor story. I really want to honor that. And I also want to honor how invaluable community is and how it's not necessarily something that everyone has, right? So I recognize that. And I also want to share that it is in part our larger community, broadly understood, it's our responsibility to take care of each other so that our folks do not feel alone or are not alone, right? So we want to be able to take care of one another in as many places as possible so our folks don't feel alone and are not alone. Um, so I want to thank you for that message, B, and also recognizing that coming together as a community means to be able to share our resources, right? And to be accountable to each other. I think that's really important. We all don't come from the same perspective. We all don't have the same resources. Some of us have way more than others, right? So, what does it mean to be accountable to each other, to give up some of our resources in order to make sure that all of us are okay? Right. And
Yeah,
then to increase others' resources so that all of us are okay. So that's
right.
something I want to share. Um, I know also that this work that we're doing where it's being captioned is really important, that we talk slowly for our communities. This does not replace the invaluable work of our interpreters. The event was really last minute, and we wanted to make sure that it was still accessible to folks and that we didn't disrespect our interpreters on last minute calls. So I just wanted to share that as an organization, we are doing our best to be accountable to everyone as much as possible. And we thank you all for your grace around that.
Yes.
So on that note, I'm going to come off the screen, and then B, if you can please take over and teach us what you know and share your resources with us. Thank you so much, folks. We'll be leaving her website on the comments so folks can thank her yourself. She's been at this for a while, and I'm just so grateful that she's taking her Sunday to be with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me and giving me this platform to reach all of you. Hi, so as Connie said, my name is Nguyen, aka Killer B. I am a professional fighter. I am a domestic abuse survivor turned professional fighter. And I think that is my duty and my privilege to offer up my skills to all of you, because I think all of us need, deserve, and the skills to defend ourselves at all times. It's unfortunate that we have to equip ourselves with these skills, but I know that we are strong, resilient, and we will do what is necessary, and I got your back. So I want to talk about, actually, before I get into it, I'm going to introduce my partner today. He will be acting as, this is Alden Correa. He will be acting as the attacker today, but he's not. He's very, very kind. First, I want to talk about the most important thing is spatial awareness. So I want you all to be very aware of where you are at all times. And for me, the most important thing is your 180 view. You need to be able to see what's around you. And the best way to do this, the best way to not be attacked from behind, is if you are somewhere in public, if you can find a wall and stand against it, that way you have the view of everything in front of you. That is very, very key. A lot of attacks that I've been seeing are if you're next to a street light, or if you're standing in the middle of a public area or in a train station. Everybody is standing in these gaps. I need you, if you can, to stand against a wall so you can see that's all around you. I think it's very important to keep your phone on you so it's accessible if you need to call, if you feel unsafe, but it's very important when you're in public spaces to not be distracted by your phone. Just try not to be on your phone in public. And I also want to note the importance of community again. For me, I know I wish I would have done this my whole entire life, but in light of recent events, every time I see somebody that may need assistance, if they're alone, if they're elderly, I tend to watch them a little more. I pay attention. And if there was a situation that I can help, I want to be aware. So it's not only being aware for yourself, it's being aware for your community and others around you. Just pay attention a lot more. So I'm going to get into some techniques, but I'm going to start from the importance, what I think is the most important thing, and then we'll go into last resort, worst case scenario. For me, when I do self-defense seminars, it's not for me to show off my skill. I think very clear. I think very. I think very thoroughly about what is applicable and what is realistic. And I've chosen those techniques to show you. And the most important thing is to get away. I'll never, advise you to fight if you don't have to. Getting away is the most important thing. So what I will start with is what a strong stance looks like. Most people don't pay attention to this, and I will show you now. Alden? So if you stand with your feet right next to each other, you are susceptible to falling backwards or forwards. If you're standing with your feet crossed, you're susceptible to falling always, really, sideways, front, back. So that's the reason why in fighting, we stand staggered with our weight distributed. So if I was standing in public, I would be standing with my feet staggered, weight distributed. Now, if I feel like danger is coming, and don't feel awkward about this, this is the difference between life or death. Don't feel embarrassed or awkward about it. But the strongest stance will be one foot in front. If you're left-handed or right-handed, the foot's in front. You're gonna take, I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna take my left foot and turn it out, turn it back, turn it out, and turn it back again. That's how I feel my strongest. So this will be your strong stance. And for me, I like open hands and elbows in. If your elbows are up, they can take you from under. If your elbows are in, you're strong enough to push them away or control them if you have to. So this will be your strong stance. I'll demonstrate it here. If Alden stands, come in more. If he stands parallel, horizontal, he's easy to push over. If he obviously crosses his feet, then he can easily be pushed over. Now he's going to go into that stance. And I can't really push him anymore. And if he has his hands forward, I can't even come close to him. All right. So that is the importance of a strong stance. That is what I call an alert stance. If you ever feel like you need to be alert and defend yourself. All right. What I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of people slapping or swinging punches. So we're going to talk about evading those. And again, we're evading to get away. So come here, Alden. First, I'm going to need you to throw a straight punch. When he throws a straight punch, I'm going to lean. Let's face it this way. I'm going to lean away from it on the outside. Okay, this is called a slip. Notice my hands are up to protect myself. Again, lean away from it. If you want to, you can also push them away. That's a little more complicated, but if you can just lean towards their back. Don't lean away because you can fall. Lean towards them to the outside of the punch. Okay? This way, when you run, it's going to take him a while to turn to you before he runs after you. So again, always lean to the outside, then run away. And it'll take him time to turn around. If I lean to the inside, I'm going to get hit by his other hand, or I'm going to get grabbed. So again, if he's swinging this punch straight, you're going to lean to the outside and you're going to take off. Now, if he starts looping, if you ever see somebody looping, you're going to do what's called a roll. People think it's with your back. Don't do this with your back because you can get snapped down and you'll fall. You're going to stay in your strong stance. If you see somebody coming at you with a swing, you're just going to duck with your legs. Hands up, duck, and run. Again, we're going towards the outside of his body. We don't want to go in. We don't want to go straight back. He's just going to keep coming and attacking, and you eventually corner yourself. So again, it's going to be thighs. It's going to be a squat. He's coming in. You're going to duck and you run. It's going to take him a little while to turn around and come after you. So those two evasion techniques, a lean run, a squat, it's called a roll, then run. Okay, make sure you practice these. And for me, when I stare in martial arts, when you stare at somebody to predict where they're gonna throw, you stare at their chest, because your peripherals will be able to see what their arms are doing. Okay, so when you stare at somebody and you're unsure of them or you're fearing for your life, don't stare at their face, stare at their chest. You'll be able to predict their whole body movement. Okay, another evasion tool, keeping the distance, we call it in MMA, are long kicks. I recommend long kicks before any punches. I rarely recommend punches. So most important thing is to keep them away long enough for you to get away. Keep them away long enough for you to get away. So I'm going to show you a teep, a side kick, and hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but if they attack you from behind, a donkey kick. Okay, I'm going to show a teep. So we're in our strong stance. All I'm going to do is shift my weight to one of my legs and lift my leg up. I'm going to place the ball of my foot onto his body. You see how I'm compromised here? I'm not very strong. So I'm going to push my hips forward. So again, you're going to put all your weight on your supporting leg, lift your leg up, point the ball of your foot to them, and you're going to push your hip forward. Again, sorry about that. This works better even better when they're coming towards you. Keeps them away. Okay, you can use either leg you're comfortable with. And this gives you space. Another, I'm going to keep repeating this. When you teep them away, I want you to run diagonally on the outside of them. Don't try not to run turning your back to them, because they'll come attack you. Okay, so they come, you teep, you take off this way. It takes them a lot longer to turn around and run towards you than to run right after you. Last time, the teep. He's going to come in. Teep. Okay, next, sorry, I'm kicking you pretty hard. Next one is the side kick. So you're going to stand sideways. If you're standing in front like this, you're going to turn your foot and your hip sideways. All you're going to do is you're going to pull your leg up to cock it in and kick out. This takes a little more flexibility, but it does generate a lot of power. So again, okay, leg up, kicking. This one, you're going to kick with the heel. Leg up, kick. If he comes in, again, that takes more practice, a little more complicated, but generates a lot of power. Come in, boom. Now I'm going to take off this way. Okay. The last kick to keep distance that I'm going to show is the donkey kick. This is, which I hope does not happen to you, because I hope that you're standing against a wall or standing against something that gives you full vision of what's in front of you. But if this happens, when they come from, let's go over here. If they come from behind, this is called a donkey kick. No, donkey kick. You're going to bring your leg up like this. You have to look at who you're attacking. Bring your leg up. I'm looking at him so that I can aim, and I kick. Sorry. Okay. So I bring my leg up and I aim. Even if I miss the body, your leg doesn't go up that far, you could do the leg, you could do the hip. Hopefully you catch the crotch if the attacker is a male, but you just kick back, okay? As he's coming in. Sorry. And as he's coming in, you notice him, hand out, kick. Okay. That is your evasion. So you have the slip, run off, the roll under the big punch, run off, the teep, run off, side kick, run off. Last but not least, hopefully you don't have to use the donkey kick. Okay. Next, we're going to get into the escapes. This is if they have a hold of you. This is if the attacker grabs onto you. The first thing I'm going to show how to escape is the wrist lock. This is very, very common. I'm going to show it pretty closely here. We can just sit here. So if somebody grabs you, try not to, I know instinctively you want to pull away, but that is not going to do anything but lock yourself in because your wrist is small and your hand is big. So this will just lock you in. We're going to instead turn our hand to where the bone meets the thumb. That way we can bend the elbow, bringing our thumb to us and slowly peeling their hand. So again, turning, bringing it to yourself. Again, even when you turn, you can't yank it to yourself. You're still locked in. Turn your thumb to yourself. Now, if he grabs it tight, he's grabbing it pretty tight right now. I think my veins are coming out. It's okay. I turn, pulling my thumb to myself. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, once you turn it and you try to pull your thumb to yourself, but they're really, really strong, you can reinforce it with your other hand by keeping his wrist still and pulling yours to yourself. Turn, pull. Turn, pull. Again, he grabs me real tight, real fast, I pull. Turn, pull. Okay, that is the wrist lock. Let's see if I can show it even tighter. Now I have control of him. That is a simple wrist lock escape. Now we're going to go to both wrist lock escape. So if they grab both of your hands, this isn't quite as common, but it does happen. Same technique, pull it to yourself. But this isn't the end. They're just going to re-grab you. So my advice is you turn your hand, you escape, you push theirs away. You can grab theirs too, but push theirs away until you can get away. Okay, so escape and control before running away. What if the thumb is on the outside of my wrist? Oh, so I had a question just now. The thumb is on the outside, same thing, turn and pulling it away. Again, I can't pull my hand out this way. I need to turn to where the bone lines up with the thumb. And I'm going to have to pull it away this on the outside. This can be a little more difficult because your elbow does not bend that way. So you can reinforce their hand, then pull it away. Same technique. Okay. Okay, now we're going to show you what we call gooseneck attack. Let's turn around, sorry. So if somebody grabs you by the neck, this one, oh, you're right. Okay, if they grab you by the neck, I want you to grab their wrist, turn your shoulder up, using that shoulder to leverage and break the wrist out. Let me show that again on this side. I have wrist control. Or you can control here, as long as you have their control at some point when you break away. Taking my shoulder up, turning. This does work when they're really strong. I've used it plenty of times. So he's holding on really tight. He's holding on real tight. I grab it and I turn. Okay, control them and get away. Now we have the choke, two-hand choke. So the hands are pretty strong. There's not a lot you can do to control the wrist here, but there's always a weak point. So if they're grabbing you by the neck, I want you to chop down at their elbows. And then if you can, push their wrists away. Okay? Chop down at their elbows. And then try to push their wrist away. And another one is hand on the shoulder. We did that. That's the Goose. Okay, so we have the wrist lock. Turning, pulling to yourself. If it's on the outside, turning, pulling away. We have the double wrist lock, again, pulling to yourself. We have the double hand choke, elbow chop, pushing away. And then we have the gooseneck, wrist control, shoulder up, and turn. Controlling and getting away. I did have hands on shoulders, but it's the same technique as the choke. I do see a lot of questions, so I'm going to go through the techniques that I have planned, and hopefully at the end I can look at your questions and solve that scenario for you. So we got through the escapes. These little control escapes, you want to get rid of the control and push them away and escape. Now we have attacks. I'm going to give you 4 simple attacks that can attack any body part. These are very good basic attacks that you can really practice, get strong, and you can use what you think is appropriate in the moment. So for some like the punch, but it really can hurt your hands if you're not used to being, if you're not used to the fist. I also recommend the palm punch. It's pretty simple. There's 2 key things to a punch. You want to keep your elbows in. You always want to keep your elbows in. To keep them away, you can just come at me. Okay? Because if your elbows are up, they can come grab you. Same thing when you're punching. If you want to punch up, you want to palm punch up, always keeping your elbows in. Okay? And punch as many times as you want. That's how you keep assailants away. It's just to distract them. What's really, really, really useful is a knee in an attack. So I'm going to show you how to knee that will really hurt somebody. A lot of people just bring their knee up, but what happens is you can slip. It really doesn't really hurt them. Some knees that really hurt is when you point your toe and dig in. Most important thing about that is balance. Keeping your weight here, pointing that knee in. Or if you're in close and you're trying to knee them, pointing that knee in. Don't knee up, it's not going to do anything, knee in. See how I'm pointing my toes? Kneeing the crotch, kneeing in is good too. So held in. Okay? Kneeing with your foot pointed, That way your knee becomes very sharp and harmful. If at any point you can get them down and knee them in the head, that is beautiful. But for the knee, you just need to remember, balance leg and point your toe. For the elbow, really useful elbow in self-defense is an up elbow, especially when you're the shorter person. So a good technique for an elbow is act like you're brushing your hair so the point goes straight up. That way you're protecting yourself from other attacks and you're hurting them at the same time. How I'm gonna demonstrate, you can sit down so they can see it. How I'm gonna demonstrate is you can just, so when you're elbowing, remember here, that way you're safe from side attacks and this can really hurt them. If you're on the inside, you wanna really bring it up. This will cut and hurt somebody really bad, okay? Protects you as well. I recommend the up elbow. You can chop elbow, but the up elbow is the most applicable in self-defense. One kick that will render somebody really, really bad, will really break somebody's leg is a side kick to the knee. You can do it from far away, or you can do it close. Now aim for the outside of the knee, if possible, but you're gonna kick them right here, pulling your knee in and attacking that side of the knee. Again, I saw some questions come up and I will revisit them at the end of the technique breakdowns. Okay. So those are some strikes you can use. There are lots of combinations you can use with them, but I would really like you to practice how to use them efficiently, and then you can apply what's necessary in the situation. Now, I haven't seen these attacks in recent events, but I want to really go over this position just because it's so useful and it will really get you out of a terrible situation. Okay, so I'm going to show, it's kind of a bonus technique. I'm going to show a choke from a rape position that will put your attacker out. I'll then get in my guard here. And this is an intense situation, but I want to show you because it could happen, and I want you to be equipped with the tools to put them out. So if you're in this position, what you first want to do is put your hips on there. Put your feet on their hips so you can push away. You want their hips away from you. Then you can come in here and kick off. Again, feet on their hips, push away, kick off. Or if they're in tight, you can choke them out. You're gonna sit up around their head. I will in a second. Around their head. Okay? He's gonna put his head on the side. Here, around his head, wrap it under and hold your stomach. Now you're gonna take this hand and hold your hand. Once you have this locked, you push your elbow towards the ground. And within 15, 20 seconds, they should be asleep again. You okay? So that's the guillotine choke. And that is a good way to get them off of you. I want to talk about some modifications. So I want to point out what you need to pay attention to and points of weakness in a person is obviously their joints, their knees, their elbows. A lot of people like to attack the face, but if you can attack their joints and elbows and knees, it will really render somebody useless and you can get away. Also, remember, don't run away with your back facing an attacker. Either run to their side or duck under and run away. I really don't recommend you running away with your back facing your attacker. And when you use those kicks that I taught to keep them away, make sure you're attacking the torso. Yeah, so those are the techniques that I have down, but being a martial artist, I do have techniques for all situations, and I saw so many questions at the bottom, so I'm wondering if I can access them and solve those, answer those questions for you. Is there an angel out there that knows how to access these?
What I can do is ask you them and then you answer them. Do you want to do that?
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll do what I can.
All right. So I think, so first, thank you so much, B. We really appreciate you. I know it's a short amount of time. So I hope folks follow her page as well, because I know she'll be hosting different strategies at some point, right? So let's move with the questions. Thank you again, B, so much. The first question I see is, what happens if you grab your leg when you kick them in front? So what happens if they grab your leg when you kick them in front? So that teep that you did, what happens if they grab?
Okay. First, I want to point out it's very hard to grab a teep. Very, very hard. Most people don't have the instincts to do it. It takes us months, if not years, to learn how to grab one correctly. First, let me show you probably the only ways to catch it so you understand how difficult it is for them to catch this kick. He would have to, face this way right there. He would have to know, first of all, to catch it with both hands, which is very difficult. This is the only way to properly catch a teep that will keep you stuck. A teep is very, very fast. Again, I want to reiterate, it's not easy to catch this. Even if he swipes it, he's not fast enough to catch the kick. But let's say he does catch it from the bottom. I want you to re-kick. That's one of the best ways to get out. Okay? Let's say he does, again, not easy to do. Like if we're just standing here and I teep, it's not easy for him to catch it. But if he does catch the bottom and he has just the bottom, I push harder into him, which releases the hand, then I can go out. Push. So again, he catches, I push like a second kick. The second thing you can do is if they catch it, you can turn your knee down and slip right out of the catch. That one I don't recommend as much, although I'm pretty confident this will not happen because I don't want you to turn away. I want the re-kick. See, okay? See, it made him wince. It hurts a lot. I pushed my heel into him again to pull it out harder again. Last time. But to answer your question, it is not easy to catch this technique.
And then I also, someone else in the attendee talked about the need to do that with the teep and the kicks to be with power and swiftness. So I think that answered your question too, is that when you teep, when you kick, it's quick and run, right? So you're not delayed. Is that correct?
Yes, you do it fast, you do it as hard as you can, and which I trust that you will in this circumstance. And also to note, when they're coming at you, they're giving you more power. So it will hurt them a lot. If they're running at you and even if you lift your leg, it will hurt, let alone kick them as they're coming in. So just practice it and be confident. I promise you it will hurt them a lot if you do it fast and hard while they're coming in, especially.
Okay. And if they happen to grab it again, you kick them again.
Yes, if they grab your leg, you push through, and that gives you the power to pull back.
Okay. All right. So thank you. And then the next question was, after a donkey kick, are you still running towards them diagonally?
After a donkey kick, you will be running a few steps away from them and you turn. So again, like I said, I'm hoping you're not in this situation, but if you are, I still don't recommend you continuously running away from them. So you donkey kick. If you want some space, do a couple steps and turn and run this way, because it will force them to turn and run after you. If you continue to run, they will catch up to you and grab you, and it'll be harder to get away. If I'm running this way and he turns to grab me, I'm still in eyesight.
Mhm. Okay, so thank you. So side and not run with your back towards them, essentially.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then now we're back to the hands when they grab you, right? So the question was, what if their thumb is on the outside of your wrist, and you answered that point, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, so thank you. And then the other question was, what if they grab your arm with both of their hands? So two
Mm.
hands on one.
This is a little trickier. You're gonna use, so the most, again, don't pull it away. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a tough spot. But don't pull away because you're still locked in. You don't want to pull down because you have no power. Your power will come from your bicep, and their thumbs are still on top. So you're gonna use everything you have that I've already taught. Now, since your thumb is already facing up, bring your thumb to you as you clamp one of their hands down. Again, hold tight.
Nice.
Using this to clamp them down, taking my thumb and peeling it to myself. Now, in situations where you're standing up, use all of your weight that you can on this hand. Again, use all of your weight that you can on the hand. Once you peel one away, the other one will go away.
Okay.
So you pull your thumb to you, and there you have it.
Okay. Thank you. And then thanks again, B, because you're trying to save a whole bunch of like folks right now from immediate circumstances, knowing that you're using both your own experience, generally speaking, and then also as an MMA fighter. So thank you. I also see that folks are saying, wouldn't it be more effective to push their chest away than just their hands? So go ahead.
I'm sorry, again, push their chest away than just their hands? No, because, come here, Alden. With your hands, pushing their chest away. Remember when I said protect your outside and push the distance? If I push his chest away, he can still grab my wrist, still grab around, still grab my neck. Notice that everything he's doing is using his hands. So in combat, I don't want to focus on this. I want to focus on what can be used against me, and it's always the wrist. So if I get out of a wrist lock, I'm keeping his hands away, and then I run. I'm keeping his hands away at all times. I'm keeping his biceps away. Now he can't attack me. Everything they attack you with will need their hands. So if you occupy yourself doing other things, he can use his hands in the meantime to attack you. So I would attack the weapon or the hands that are yielding the weapon.
Okay.
So for me, wrist control is everything.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions since we only have you till 2.
Okay.
One is, what if they have weapons? And what if they're grabbing your hair? And what if they do anything from behind you, like a choke from behind?
Okay.
And I want you guys to know that B has only been doing, like, she only had 40 something minutes, so she can't address everything. So please feel free to check her page. And then we also have a lot of women, non-binary martial artists throughout wherever you are. So please join, like look for your support and teachers in your area as well. B is
Yes.
just one of our leaders nationally and globally. So
I definitely recommend joining your local martial arts gym. I will also be posting more self-defense techniques on my page. If you look out for it, I'll be adding more. And feel free to message me, message AAPI, reach out to me. So to answer the questions of, I'm sorry, the hair grab,
weapons,
weapons.
and from
Again, yes. Again, the ducking, the slipping, no matter the wrist, the fists are a weapon. So the techniques that I taught to dodge and duck a fist would be the same techniques you use with a knife, with any weapons that he has in his hand. To answer that, I did actually want to show grabbing from behind, so I actually missed that technique. Let me show it again. But keep in mind, I know that since I have you for such a short amount of time, I wanted to teach you, put the concept in your mind that wrist control is everything. So please go over this technique. I believe it is being taped and will be accessible to you, but please go over the wrist controls. It will really translate to everything. With the hair grab, it will be tough because it's such a small thing for them to grab, so they'll have a tight grip, but it's essentially the same as all the neck grabs that I've shown you. I would, if I were you, chop the elbow down, pull the wrist away. Again, you can grab my hair, even though I didn't anticipate this. You're gonna chop down the elbow, makes him weaker. This is where he's strong. I can't pull away. I have to manipulate joints.
Nice.
Okay. And what else? From the back. Again, I'm gonna sit so you can see it closer, but this applies to standing up. Normally, this is actually a really tight grip. Some people might do the finger lock. The finger lock. No, the regular. Yeah, this or this. Just so you know, the reason in martial arts we don't use it, this is very weak and easy to break. The other finger lock, we don't use this either. It's very easy to break, and I'm going to show you how. The meat that's under the thumb, this is where you target. The thumb clasps everything together. So this is the meat that you target. You press down on this part and you pull up from the same parts. So I press down as I pull up when they have this grip. Pretty easy. In martial arts, we don't do these grips. They're not very strong. This is a very strong grip. It's called the Gable Grip. Again, I'm going to target the thumb that I can see. You just take it in the direction that it's, so if it's on the bottom, you push down and you pull up. So I'm going to simply unclasp. He's going to do it tight. I'm going to push and pull. This is the important part. Taking away their hands, hand fighting is the easy part. Believe it or not, no matter how strong he is, if you use my techniques, it will work. The important part, again, is wrist control. After you break it, make sure you keep one side. If you run without keeping any sides, he'll get it again. Again, go. So you break it. You keep one side. You see how I have one side? I can run towards that side. If you can keep two, you can run whichever way you want. But once you break it, push down, push up, peeling, peel, take one, and run. And that is, oh, and you asked the choke. Choke from the back is not very effective. Again, no, I think they do this. It's not very effective. You just turn and you chop it down. This shouldn't hold you very tight. It's pretty easy to get out of this. I just saw a note, this will be recorded and sent out. So please study it. I wish I had more time, but the reason that I chose wrist locks and wrist control and which way to run and which way to evade is because those are the basic concepts of self-defense. And please remember those.
Mm-hmm. So just to thank you all again, you know, the last question we also had was, do you recommend pepper sprays or tasers? Would you say folks should be carrying those things?
I recommend anything that can't be used against you. So pepper sprays, I love. Tasers, I love because it sprays at a distance. Tasers come out at a distance. If somebody grabs a pepper spray from you, it takes them time to press it, turn it. By that time, you should be running. I don't recommend bats. I don't recommend brass knuckles are okay, but what brass knuckles means is you have to be in the distance to defend yourself, which really nullifies the weapon because your assailant will also have big wrists or hands himself. I don't recommend that. I think pepper spray, I think anything within a distance is the best thing you can have. Please don't hold any weapons that you can't yield stronger than everybody else. So a bat or something like that. Now, if you're outside and you have nothing and you pick up something, of course, but to preventative, my recommendation to you, pepper spray or tasers, I recommend pepper spray.
Thank you so much, B. I hope you're taking the chance to look through the chat for all the folks who are thanking you. I know there are so many notes of appreciation. So I hope you're absorbing that. I know you are using so much of your skills and talents and just resources to give back to folks. Thank you so much, B. And we can't emphasize enough, you know, for many of our communities, martial arts has been a part of our traditions from across the globe. And B is one of our leading martial artists who is competing professionally and sharing her skill sets professionally across the globe. I see you raising your hand. Mm-hmm.
Yes, teacher. I train all over the world, all over the country, and I don't see enough of Asian Americans in these classes. And I think that we should definitely, I've also traveled to countries where a lot of these martial arts are derived from. So I really think we should start taking advantage of our resources and our sport, our martial arts that is available to us. And also, I want to add and give out another resource. I am your biggest resource that's available to all you when it comes to reputable gyms in your area. Believe it or not, I probably know a good gym in every single city in the country. And so if you DM me or contact me through AAPI, I can help you find one.
Thank you. And I know that Margaret Lowe sent out their information. There are so many resources across the country that B will be able to vouch for, but also look in your community for our leaders. And then also, if our gyms are not populated by those of you that are on the screen right now, start joining them and calling and just populate it, you know, take it all back and make it what is most important to us, which is just our strength, our resilience, and community.
I'm also launching an online community this year, so that will be available for you all as well.
Dope.
Online school.
An online school. Hello. Okay.
Yeah, it's Killer Bee Academy will be available online.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, and continue to just, you know, we'll be doing more of these. We have a couple more sessions available. We wanted to make sure that one of our kind of big champions was with us to launch it off, but there will be more of these. So thank you so much, everyone. Please take care of yourselves and each other. We'll share this recording later. Thank you again. Have a good Sunday, and don't forget, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, B.
The music.
Yes, yes, everyone's leaving, but B, you did such an amazing job. Folks are leaving. Just thank you.
You're welcome. That was awesome.
You're awesome. I'm gonna text
Uh,
him. You're free to go and take care of
Dr.
yourself.
Nguyen, Dr. Nguyen.
I'm hearing some voice.
Dr. Nguyen, this is Margaret Lowe.
Okay. Can we
Hi.
chat? We're gonna log off.
Yes.
But maybe we can DM each other or email each other.
Yes. Yes. I think, would you mind emailing because I'd like to discuss a couple of things to you, because I have also started doing self-defense courses.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Margaret.
Hi.
Hi, this is